Hello everyone and welcome back to Poser's Movie Recaps. Our film today is a sci-fi action film about a woman who accidentally absorbs an unknown substance and gains godlike abilities. The movie starts with Lucy who meets her new boyfriend named Richard, outside a big hotel in Taipei. Lucy is a young American student in Taiwan, and Richard is trying to convince her to deliver a briefcase to Mr. Zhang for quick cash. Lucy is hesitant to do this because she has no idea what's inside the briefcase. To persuade her even more, the man offers her $500, but Lucy still declines to be a courier. They've been dating for just a week and Lucy doesn't have enough trust in the guy despite the lovely relationship that they briefly shared. Richard is persistent and explains that he had a fallout with his boss, but Lucy stands her ground. The man seals her fate when she handcuffs the briefcase into her arm, so Lucy doesn't have a choice if she wants to get rid of the briefcase. Lucy walks inside the hotel and nervously asks the receptionist for Mr. Zhang. He informs her that Mr. Zhang is on his way and she waits in front of the reception. A group of men in suits shows up and immediately shot Richard, and hands a roll of cash to the receptionist for his silence. They take Lucy to a private suite, and inside, Lucy sees some dead bodies which make her puke. She tries to speak to the supposed Chinese men but they don't understand English as she doesn't understand their language either. Mr. Zhang turns out to be a Korean who calls for a translator. She relays that she doesn't know anything and that Richard just gave her the briefcase to deliver to Mr. Zhang. The boss man eventually gives Lucy the code and leaves to take cover. Lucy becomes more nervous with this, but she still opens the case, and fortunately, it's not an explosive. The briefcase contains a plastic pack, filled with some kind of blue powder. They pull a man from somewhere and test the blue powder on him. When the thugs thought it to be the real deal, they eliminate the man as he was not needed anymore. Mr. Zhang offers her a job but with everything she witnessed, Lucy declines the offer. But it seems that once more, she doesn't have a choice in this. Elsewhere, a scientist named Professor Samuel Norman is currently giving a lecture about brain capacity. He stated that according to his theory, all living organisms only utilize a tiny percentage of their total neural capacity. Some animals like dolphins can tap up to 20% with their ability to echolocate, while humans have maximum access to only 15%. He theorizes that with 20% access for humans, a person can fully control their body, and with more than 30%, a person can possibly control others. But no one really knows the full potential of gaining higher access to brain capacity, and most of his studies are more on hypothesis. We're about to find out anyway. Lucy wakes up on a bed with so much pain in her stomach. She discovers that she's been operated on, and the goon takes her with the other victims. An English man explains that they hid a pouch of CPH4 inside them, and they are about to take a flight somewhere. Their people will meet them on the other side, so they can surgically retrieve the package. Meanwhile, the group chains Lucy in a dirty room, and one of the thugs gets attracted to her. When she rejected his advances, he doesn't take it nicely and he starts kicking Lucy where the CPH4 is. This causes the pouch inside to tear, releasing a large amount of the blue powder into her system. The transformation is instant, and her eyes turn blue. She begins to profusely convulse and starts to be thrown all over the place until she lost consciousness. When Lucy wakes up, she's clearly something else now. She is calm, cool, and collected. One of the goon comes back and she just smirks at him and spread her legs to invite him closer. The man falls into her trap, and she quickly neutralizes the thug. She uses his belt to reach the weapon and walks out of the room. With her new gain abilities, Lucy starts shooting everyone on her way out. She even shot an innocent taxi driver for not speaking English. The other one does, so she asks him to take her to the hospital. At the hospital, Lucy miraculously is able to read Chinese, and quickly walks into the surgery room. She examines the charts of the man that the doctor is performing an operation, and decides to shoot him to clear the operating table. She informs the doctor that the man's tumor is inoperable and demands that they remove the leaky pouch inside her. While the doctors are busy performing the surgery, she borrows a phone and calls her mother. She expresses her gratitude for everything she has done for her and tells her that she recalls and feels everything now. Lucy adds that she even remembers the cat that they had when she was barely a year old. The doctor successfully removes the pack of CPH4 and explains that he is amazed that she still lives with the amount her body absorbs. She just replied that not for long. Lucy leaves the hospital and heads back to Mr. Zhang's hotel. She quickly eliminates all his bodyguards and assaults the big boss while she monologues about her newfound abilities. She uses her powers to telepathically scans his brain to extract the location of the 3 other supposed couriers like her, and find their destination through the image of their plane tickets. Later, she stops by her apartment and meets her roommate Caroline. She borrows her computer to search for more information about brain theories, and she finds out about Professor Norman's research. Lucy gives the professor a call and quickly lay out what happens to her, including the fact that she now has 28% access to her brain functions and still getting higher every minute. At first, the professor thought that it is a prank call, but when Lucy's face appears on his television, he starts listening more to what she is saying. She also relays that she might not last longer and possibly have less than 24 hours to live, so they plan a meeting in 12 hours in Paris. Before leaving the apartment, she advises her friend to take some medicine for her health and change her unhealthy lifestyle. On the way to her flight to Paris, Lucy changes her hair color by will, as the news station broadcast her previous crimes. She gets in touch with the local police captain named Pierre, warns him of the couriers, and sends the details to his computer. The police successfully collected the couriers, and Lucy plans to first meet her new detective friend to retrieve the packages. While on the flight, Lucy starts hacking while using 2 computers simultaneously. She has now 40% access to her brain capacity. While drinking her champagne to celebrate knowledge, she notices that her teeth are falling out. To her horror, Lucy also sees that the cells in her body begin to disintegrate, so she runs into the comfort room. Desperate to find a cure, she starts consuming the rest of her CPH4, and it seems to work at first. A moment later, Lucy passes out and it looks like she completely explodes. Later, Lucy wakes up at the infirmary where Pierre and some of his colleagues are waiting for her. When the police confront her, she asks to speak to Pierre alone and puts the others to sleep with a mere hand gesture. She tells him that she needs the rest of the CPH4 for medicinal purposes, and states that it's safer on her hands. Pierre drives her to the hospital, where the apprehended men are waiting for the extraction of CPH4 from their bodies. Lucy hacks into the phone's network without using a computer and learns that Mr. Zhang's top henchmen are on the way to retrieve the packets themselves. Lucy takes the wheel from Pierre and speeds up through the traffic to reach the hospital first. She leaves a huge carnage in the traffic, including several wreckages along the way. Despite her efforts, Mr. Zhang's men arrive first at the hospital, taking out the merchandise and killing the men in the process. Lucy reaches her destination as Mr. Zhang's men are about to escape. With her 60% brain functions, she can move others around and sends the goons flying toward the ceiling. She even creates an invisible force field to prevent the leader from escaping her. Once she retrieves the package, Lucy heads to Professor Norman's location, who gathers his high-ranking colleagues to help him understand Lucy's situation. When Lucy arrives at the university with Captain Pierre, she immediately proves her capabilities to show the scientists who doubt her powers. Meanwhile, Mr. Zhang and his men are in pursuit of Lucy and plan to corner her inside the university. Lucy instructs Pierre to watch out for the men coming and proceeds to tell the scientists some of the knowledge she acquired from her special abilities. According to Lucy, cells can be created or destroyed, and time is the center of it all. She adds that she will create a supercomputer, so she can upload all her acquired knowledge for the benefit of mankind. Outside, Zhang and his goons are preparing for an assault, and Pierre informs Lucy about this. The scientist prepares the CPH4 according to Lucy's instruction, while Pierre and his men face Zhang's army and battle it out. Lucy is intravenously injected with the liquefied CPH4. Her brain functions begin to climb higher, and her body changes into a fluid-like structure that consumes all the electronics inside the room. The room turns completely white and a black mass begins to form at the center, which is the next generation supercomputer. Zhang and his men take the last stand when the top henchmen suddenly obtain a bazooka and fire it toward the lab. As it explodes, Lucy manages to transfer her body to Times Square, New York. She begins a time-space journey in the past, by scrolling her surroundings as if it's a video. She enters colonial times and sees the Indians, dinosaurs, and even the first woman named Lucy. When they touch their fingers, Lucy begins to unlock more of her brain capabilities, which sends her all the way to the beginning of time and witnesses the Big Bang. However, it turns out that her original body stays in the lab, and Zhang sneaks from behind and points a weapon at her head. Lucy is almost at her 100% brain functions at the time, and as Zhang pulls the trigger, she reaches the maximum and just disappears out of thin air. Her consciousness moves into the space-time continuum, leaving just her clothes and the supercomputer behind. The enraged Zhang turns to the scientists but Pierre comes in time to save them. The alien-like computer starts reaching for Professor Norman and pops out a simple USB drive. The professor takes the USB from the supercomputer, finally completing his research on brain functions. Pierre asks the professor where Lucy is, when his cell phone suddenly rings as he receives a text message from her, stating that she is everywhere. Basically, she is a god now. What do you think, guys? Subscribe to watch more videos like this. You can also hit the notification bell and like the video to help the channel out. Thank you.